Welcome back to Sculptopia. We're going to make a killer Kirby. Alright, so first we're going to take some armature wire and get into the shape we want. This Kirby is going to be a little bit more square than the general Kirby. And then we're going to fill it out with some tin foil. And once we like the shape of that, we're going to go ahead and put on some of our clay. And that's the base. Now we're going to start to fill out the face. So first we're going to take off a chunk and start to build out the mouth here. And once we get the general mouth into a mouth shape, we'll be good to start shaping out the face. I put some divots for where the eyes will be eventually. And we're just going to plop those right into place with some little pre-baked eyes. 1 and 2. Next we're going to start with the teeth. You're just going to take a little noodle here, some tooth colored clay, and we're just going to stick some in the upper jaw. And then once again, same thing on the bottom jaw. And with that looking good, we're going to start defining out the teeth using just a sculpture tool or dental tool. Just shaping out each individual tooth, getting some real definition there. Now that we have the teeth looking nice and teethy, we're going to move on to the tongue. With that general shape and placement good, we're going to go ahead and put some cosplay on there. Give us a little flexibility after the bake, just in case we want to bend or shape the tongue into a different form. And from here, we're going to go ahead and just add all the mouth textures and holes, divots and bumps, and make it look real gross in there. As well as we're going to use this roller, add some bumpy textures to the tongue. From here, we're going to take some isopropyl alcohol, just pour a little off there, and we're going to use a brush. And we're just going to go ahead and start to smooth out some of the textures, and so that way it's not too rough looking. Looks a little bit more organic, as well as adding some cracks in the lips and some divots in the eyes using the silicone brush to really shape out the face, get them looking real angry. Alright, so from here we're going to start building out the feet. He just kind of wears some peasant shoes, and we're just going to do one facing one way and one kind of flipping back to give the motion of running. A nice side profile there. And we're just going to smooth out the shoes onto the already pre-baked body and start to divide out the shoe from the rest of the body and give it them shoe details, poking some holes, some divots, really make those peasant shoes pop. And now we have the arms here. We're going to just slap those on. Kirby's arms are usually just little nubs, but in this case, we're going to add some fingies. I'm just going to pinch out some fingers there and make it nice and gross looking. Yeah. And then from here, it's a lot of sculpting out the folds and wrinkles that come from this outstretched Kirby body. You know, this Kirby, he's not as elastic as your classical unboned Kirby. He, he's got some bones, got some structure, and therefore wrinkles. Alright, with all that detail work done, now we can finally get to some painting. I'm going to start off with a base coat here. Pink for the mouth. We got a little red for the tongue, kind of differentiate it. Now we're going to start with the base coat for the body. Originally I was going for a more flesh-toned Kirby rather than like a colorful pink Kirby, but as you might imagine, it still ended up becoming more pink in the end here, but we're just going to start with some base coats. Got a nice beige going, which will help make the other colors pop later on. And with the tongue, we're just gonna stipple on some more color, gray it out a little bit with the sponge here. Then I'll start to add in some darker reds into the mouth for the recesses. Then start to color out the eyes. And here's the Kirby, pretty much at its base coat done. We gotta make sure the tongue still fits in place, looks good, which it does. Then we're gonna just do some light dental work, cleaning up them teeth. Then we're gonna add in some white and brighten the teeth. From here, we're just gonna do some dry brushing, some light pink, add some variety of color into the mouth, along with we're gonna yellow those teeth back up because we don't want them looking too light, too crisp. I don't think Kirby really goes to the dentist that often. And we're gonna also stipple on some more color onto the tongue. And then we're gonna put some glue in the mouth and also on the back of the tongue and just set those in place. And from here, we're going to start adding in the pinks and reds that eventually become the main coloring of the Kirby. Starting off with some lighter pinks, then going into some darker magentas, some darker pinks, really making this Kirby look mad. It's an angry Kirby. All right, and that's looking pretty good. So now we're gonna do some UV resin. Just gonna take a brush and just glob it on some to the teeth, a little bit in the mouth, and then in the eyes as well. Give everything a nice gleam. And then of course hit it with a quick UV bath. And that's the Kirby pretty much done there. So next we're gonna move on to the Waddle Dee. So after you throw on some clay, we're just going to mush that into an orb, kind of build out the snoot a little bit, and then throw on some arms here. Waddle Dee is going to be a little bit more traditional with just little nub arms, as well as also the peasant shoe feet. I also have made some pre-baked eyes that I mushed into place there. And now we can start shaping out the division between the face and the rest of the body of the Waddle Dee, which I'm not sure if like it's fur and the face is more like skin, or if it's all fur, just different color, or if it's all just skin. They don't really specify. I always kind of thought they looked like little monkeys, so that's kind of how I'm picturing it here, where fur is the orange and the face is skin. I'm also going to use a sponge to stipple on some texture onto the face and the fur, because that way everything doesn't look so flat. And then we're in the base coat of the orange. And once we get that base coat down, we can also use a sponge to kind of stipple on some texture there. So it kind of looks a little bit more like fur. And we painted the shoes off camera because it takes forever to paint gray shoes yellow. Now with the eyes uncovered, we're just going to do a little bit of touch-up work. And we're going to stipple on some more texture onto the face. You can never have too much texture. And now just a little touch up on the eyes as well. And then add in some light dots, bring some life to those eyes. I also decided to give this Waddle Dee some scarring, some battle wounds. You know, no, I feel like not every Waddle Dee gets devoured in this world. And then we're just going to throw in some UV resin onto the eyes, give a quick UV bath, and then onto the base. So I was kind of thinking of like the general Cloud Dream World Kirby level here. So nothing too crazy. We're just going to take some cotton balls and some glue and throw them on a base. And that's about it. And I almost forgot an important detail being the blush for the Waddle Dee. You know, you can't have them not blushing constantly. And final touches for the Kirby. Here we have some fabric glue, which makes excellent drool or webbing, depending on how you want to use it. Really adds that nice final detail. And now we're just going to set them in place. A little super glue and a little bit of luck. I really wanted Kirby to be standing on an angle here initially, but he was just too heavy and I would have had to make posts, and at this point I was just ready to get it done. So just put a different angle with a little super glue, and yeah, that is Killer Kirby. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe comment, like, subscribe, share, do all that. And yeah, we'll be having some more videos coming at you. Take care.